the sun go, Adeline? What? I might do a video real quick. Okay, hi, this is Heather here with Underwater Panther, and welcome to Gemini or ENTJ season. We are at May 21st, 2024. So, the third house is where I want to start. The first through the 12th houses came before the zodiac signs. So we say that the houses created the zodiac signs. Where's her pink? You've got your pink claw thing. It's over there in the chair. Go get it. So the third house represents Gemini very well. This is what they are about. This is what they are focused on. This is what they are good at and aware of within their ego. So the third house represents your surroundings, all things familiar in your immediate environment, self-expression, daily travels, family ties, immediate persons, places, things, neighbors, friends, family. So it's community, close network community. So that could be like coworkers, work, home, daily short travels, work, and education. And the third house also represents our youngest upbringing by means of learning language and hands-on learning. So it's communication as well as hands-on learning. Now, it took me quite a few years to realize how deeply that is actually ingrained within the Gemini, because, we all think that they just, communicate and talk too much. But they are actually very good mechanically. They love to tinker mechanically, or it could play out as being artsy. So working on vehicles or creating artwork of some sort. So that's something to be aware of. So they are dominated by the left brain. So that is the yang, and that is masculine. And they are very logical. So they are pushing that out into the external, into the practical. And air represents thinking and communication. They are mutable in their temperament as well. We're talking temperament right now. So they're able to adapt and change to others' thinking and communication. So that's astrologically. And then psychologically, they are ruled by, they have extroverted thinking in their hero cognitive function. So they are very concerned with others' ways of thinking and communicating. That's what they are paying attention to. They are ruled, so that means that they are very concerned with numbers. It's like the majority rules and beliefs. And introverted thinking, for me, example, Pisces, I'm very concerned with my own thinking. I will tear everything apart and restructure it, and that's how I think. I don't have to go to everyone else. I'd rather research introvertedly to make up my mind on something. So they're very extroverted, and they want to gather as many ideas and ways of thinking, and they will base their decisions on the group think or consensus. So they are ruled by Mercury. We're jumping back into the astrological aspect of the Gemini. So Mercury represents thinking and communication, analyzing so thinking and communication. So it's like the steering wheel in the astral realm. So it is what makes us curious, pay attention to the instructions, details. It deals with the nervous system, first initial movement, the idea behind actions. So that would be the idea realm. Can make you feel a certain way with words alone. So Mercury, they're very good at semantics and wordplay is what I like to say. When they're going through things, they think the right thing to do is to talk about it for Geminis. So, energetic expression, Gemini is intellectual, social, and adaptable to its environment. Its essence is about being able to express whatever is on our mind and in our heart. We call on Gemini energy when we need confidence and charisma in social settings or when we want to communicate our thoughts and feelings. So, keywords we have versatile, communication, social, curious, storytellers, quick witted, motivation, to share wisdom and knowledge. So the challenges are for Geminis is two-faced, manipulation, and superficial or topical. Because they love communication so much, they will just communicate to communicate. They can really talk to whoever and pick up on how that person talks and just go along with the conversation, even though they are not emotionally connected or really going in depth. So they are considered the chief psychologically. They tend to be extroverted. They need a lot of freedom and choice, and lots of communication for communication's sake, like I said. They love recognition and praise, so they're all about their status and reputation. They could be very show-offy. They love attention, but they say they don't. But they are the CEOs, so they're probably going to be wearing nice clothes, watches, jewelry, jacked up trucks, motorcycles. They will probably, a lot of them are into fitness, so they're probably going to be in the gym a lot, showing off their muscles, ripped off shirts, that type of thing. So yes, they do love, they do love attention. So they don't at all care about their comfort zones. They don't really believe in comfort zones. They will pop a goal out of nowhere and go for it immediately. They don't really need to think things through. They kind of fly by the seat of their pants and dust the dirt off of people's shoes, so to speak. So they are pretty direct and movement oriented. So they're very direct in their communication style. They say what they mean what they say. Movement oriented, meaning they always want to be on the go, working towards a goal or organizing. They are the most flirtatious in the zodiac, in my opinion, and that's with everyone, but they go on logic, so it's not actually emotionally that deep for them. But it can be problematic. People will take it like they're flirting and take it deeper than what it really is. So they definitely can be forgetful and need to write things down. They have the ADHD waves, I like to say, like a Pisces. So it's like they will go through spurts where they lose their keys. They'll just lose a whole bunch of things, not know where they sat their drink down, and so on and so forth. They do things before they ask, then apologize later, so they are pragmatic. Look at that big. You see that big bird? He's getting attacked by a little bird. Oh, bird's huge. Okay, so they are pragmatic, which means that they do not ask the group or their significant other or family or anyone before they make a decision. They just make their decision, take action, and then apologize later. So they are not affiliative. They don't care about the group. They're more about their own independence and freedom of choice and movement. So they are the chief of efficiency. They can be very impatient and they can have a hard time empathizing with others. So they do impose their will on others. They can be very bossy and controlling. Although like there isn't like a romantic relationship. It depends on what relationship you are with them. Friendship wise, they're not going to be so controlling. You're not going to see it like that. But like in a boss coworker setting or even a romantic partnership, they can be very controlling and bossy. It will come out eventually. So what they report as objective can actually be based on their own subjective preference. And I think I might use that where it is, because they're very they're a lot more emotional than you would think. So they can be intense and authoritarian in communicating, so they do tend to bend others to their will. They are very domineering, and they like to take charge. They are a structured type temperamentally, so that means all the baby signs in the astrology. So it would be Aries, ESTP, Cancer, ENFJ, Gemini, ENTJ, and Taurus, ESTJ, the 4 baby signs of the 4 elements, or 3 elements, I'm sorry, air, water, earth, and fire, 4 elements. Yeah, so those are the structure and charge, which is kind of weird to me. It's like they're the baby. To me, it's like the Aries is 1, Taurus is 2, Gemini is 3, Cancer is 4 within the house system. So psychologically and emotionally, they are not as developed. Of course, we all have our own maturity levels and upbringings and environments that affect our psychology, but yeah, that's great because the top 4, or top 3, I should say, are very masculine as well, so they tend to take charge more than anyone else. So yeah, we've got the babies domineering our planet. So they can have a hard time listening. They're very critical. And they can be non-stop relentless. Like, if they're upset at you, if you're not doing what they say, regardless of the situation, they are going to be non-stop relentless in getting what they want. So they tend to feel less of their internal world. They repress their emotions due to looking like vulnerability. So they are the most masculine sign next to Aries or ESTP. So they don't want to look vulnerable, so they repress their emotions. They're not comfortable sitting in feelings, so they tend to intellectualize their feelings and ignore them and go do productive things to ignore feelings. But when their feelings finally come out, all the repressed feelings bubble up from the introverted feeling, inferior cognitive function. It blows up demon mode, which is demon extroverted feeling. So it's going to extroverted feeling. They're going to be emotionally very volatile. So they are the most confrontational or argumentative types. They are very my way or the highway. They can be ruthless and ethics. So they are more about morality, and that is their own morality. It isn't, yes, they do base their decisions in the thinking realm on the group, but when it comes to morality or ethics, they're all about how they feel. They're not about how others feel or how others think about how others feel. Totally not on their radar. So they can be very ruthless in life ethics, but that makes them the CEO, right? They have very strong egos, and they can have very short temper ranges. Because they don't have that extroverted feeling in the top 4 cognitive functions, they don't have as broad of a spectrum of emotional intelligence. And so, it's either I'm mad or I'm happy. There's like no in between. They can appear upset when they are not, just because they are so direct and kind of ruthless and all about goals. It's like you'll just see them working away and you're like, are you okay? And if you ask them how they feel, don't ask a Gemini how they feel, because it's not on their radar. It's not something that's in their conscious awareness, and it is their inferior and their demon. So if you're concerned about a Gemini, I dealt with this for 5 years, so I definitely know not to ask a Gemini how they feel. Ask them what they think. Ask them, hey, are you coming along in your goal? How can I help you if you really care? So they can make decisions that make others feel undervalued. And their virtue is charity, I believe, and their vice is greed. So, oh man, they just see everything in money. Like, they are very money oriented more so than any other type. And so they do, I'm just gonna let you know that it's more about money for them, and the decisions they make are more on how they feel. It's not on how to make others happy, so that can really make their significant others feel undervalued, or even people that work under them. I actually have a supervisor that's a Gemini, or not a supervisor, I'm sorry, a team leader, and um, yeah, they are very good obligators, so they tend to not want to, they want to be off on their own, and they want their own freedom. So they will tend to obligate other people to do their job, and that can become a big issue because they're really good with their words and communication. So it's like, if an outsider asked how everything was doing, they would be like, "Oh, wonderful, yada yada yada." And then if you ask an insider of the group that with a Gemini in charge, the group's probably most likely going to be upset that the Gemini has not been working and emotionally totally disconnected, and everyone else is doing their job. And so that's just an issue. They're the chief, but they can really lack emotional true connection with other people and hands-on. So yeah, freedom based their own emotions and money. So they're direct, they give commands, say what they mean what they say, they choose a role in the conversation. That is to do with them being a structure type in their temperament. So they're initiating or extroverted, so they do go to other people when they want information or just start conversations. So they are control and outcome focused. So they're very focused on goals, and the outcome would be more like numbers over quality. I want my name to look good. Hey, look, we got the most numbers, We as in other people working under me. Okay, so they are pragmatic, independent, they do what they want to the point they can be very impulsive. Very big issue, I would know. I was in a relationship with one for 5 years, and they are more impulsive than Pisces. I definitely, because Pisces will check in. Hey, do you want to do this? Geminis, if they get an idea, they're gone. Have no idea. Like, dinner's done. Where the heck are you? Who cares, right? So they're systematic. So they're efficient. They're looking for loopholes and efficiency. So it's the cheap, fast way or the right way. They can kind of bounce back and forth between what costs the most and the efficient, or what's cheap and fast. So depending on what kind of mood they are in. They are an intellectual, and I already said their virtue is generosity and their vice is charity. Their virtue is generosity or charity, and their vice is greed. So what's the purpose of a Gemini? It is to be the number one executor of all the types. They like to get stuff done compared to everyone else. So they can join a company and take ownership while knowing it inside and out. So they play the game of power and influence. So they are very influential. They do talk to a lot of people, and they tend to have more time to do that because they're in charge. They're not on the floor working. So they are like Napoleon. They lead from the front. They are like the head, the talker, the I look good, the face of whatever company or group. So no one can execute better. They have to always go to a program, go to a motivational speaker. They love to learn. They need to go to someone to help them with vision, vision them in on their goal. So they are the chief of their village, and they need to make sure the path is the right way. They can kind of have a hard time with the right path. It's like they tend to get lost sometimes in the details, and they can't project how much something is going to cost, like a project or goal. They can't project how much it's going to cost and the amount of time that it's going to take. They tend to just, they love to tinker, and it's like they'll have a goal or a project, and um, they'll end up spending more money and time than they thought. So they can really get caught up in that. So, um, so they can be the master executor at many things at once. They want to childishly show off everything they have done. Need that positive SI feedback, SI trickster. They do need attention. They will betray people to get ahead in life. So treat them like they can tend to treat others like numbers or cattle. They can take other people around them for granted, and they can make decisions based on numbers, not the actual vision. So the general is trying to become the druid of the forest to gain the vision again. They really have to understand the value of reality and the value of the environment and people, and recognize that the war the ego is waging has collateral damage and consequences to their actions. So with the SE, extroverted sensing child, they can be very childish with other people's money, time, material things. Yeah, they just, it's like they have an idea, they're very movement, quick oriented, they don't check in with other people, they will rush off and do something and totally not think of anyone else. So it's can be an issue because they don't see the consequences of their actions a lot of the times. And I'm about ready to drop, make the video and then edit it. And this is coming next. Yeah, I lost my thought for a second. Yeah, I'll be going over that, and I'm going to drop this video soon, about, it's like they can't exactly, they have a hard time remembering the details, and so they have a hard time connecting their actions and remembering their actions and understanding the consequences. So it's like they can make the same mistake over and over, same relationship issues, etc. And they have a hard time learning from that, is what I'm trying to say. So they're systematic, they like to create frameworks and models and help others use those frameworks and models. And so they are triple pragmatic through their ego, subconscious, unconscious, and superego. So they're very good at fixing a problem on the fly. So Geminis like to relate and communicate. They are mirrors like Pisces and will mirror others' behaviors, good and bad. Their nature is leading in masculinity because of constantly being in the thinking realm. So Gemini females, they come off as very masculine, while Gemini males tend to have more internal feminine qualities. So they are very emotional. They will never admit it, but they are very emotional. And they can't hide it. They will lie to you all day about it. So Geminis need order in order to have progress, unlike the movement types who are not scattered by chaos. They are triple control in their temperament, like I said, so they are extremely organized entrepreneurs. They absolutely love cleaning and organizing, and it is and can be extreme controlling of the environment, of the people around them, etc. So ENTJs or Geminis, they go to a source of information by fist or handshake. So they can come off as harsh, blunt, and purpose when they communicate. They are not very concerned with how others are feeling, but more so with what others are thinking. So they they try to surround themselves with smart people, mentors, and plenty of books and knowledge, because they deeply know that knowledge is power. They extensively research into what other successful people have done and do. And so they are the master executor. This is their life purpose, and no one does it better. They can take over a company from the inside out and then run it until they die. They will start from the bottom up. So Geminis are abstract and future-oriented. Like the water signs are also future-oriented and abstract. So they are open to possibilities and the what if. But they tend to lose their vision in the numbers game and lack of being able to delegate. So they try to employ precise definitions, policies, plans, and procedures, and believe in optimization, and is made through objectively understanding each piece of something. They are left-brained and scientifically minded, process-oriented, methodical, and perfectionistic. They care about utility through technology and maintaining external order. This makes them very business savvy. They want others to think highly of them through what they create in the tangible world. So that can be business, finances, crafts, and things that they build in the physical realm. Deep down, they worry if they are good people or not, and can even become mega successful. They are goal oriented and know they are responsible with what they want. They invest in their future and honestly want to be very wealthy. But if you value them and they believe in you and your potential, they can become very altruistic and giving, so they can be extremely greedy. I would never borrow money from one. They will come and collect by any means necessary. So over time, they will think they are owed because they see things as investments and want to make good on their return. So their giving can, in the end, be a covert contract. So be careful for that. Their insecurities actually lie in being paranoid and extremely critical of people's intentions. They think others are out to get them constantly. They think that they themselves are bad people or they are not valuable enough. And that's probably why they value money so much and status. They want others to value them, but that's where their fear is. So it can be very hard for them to give genuine emotional connection, which makes them keep people at an arm's distance. This is also because they can have major abandonment issues, they need ultimate loyalty, and they are very sensitive to rejection. They most of the time are singled out as the bad guy, but best believe deep down they're actually trying to craft the ultimate experience. So Cancers and Geminis both have SE child, so it's like that can make them greedy, or it can also make them be very fun and playful and just want to give everyone a good, fun experience. They are artists at heart, believe it or not. So that was my Gemini season opener. Welcome to Gemini season video. I hope you enjoyed this. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.